SLR104FR.
Helps if I don't have the safety on, huh?
Unless it's a Remington.
That's accurate. I mean, your statement, not the gun. I'm sure the gun's not. Clear.
Hi, Misha here. And it's been a little over a year, so it seemed like a good time to do an update video on the Arsenal SLR104FR and maybe talk a bit about the state of the AK-74 market in general as of essentially the beginning of October 2019. We started this video off, you saw Jay firing his SLR104FR, which is the 104-31 with the black polymer furniture and the solid body AK-74M type stock. And now, just, for fun, here's mine that I've customized a bit. You've seen in the past, but always a good time to take it out and shoot it again. So let's run a few mags through it, and then we'll come back here and have a little chat. So let's get to the range. Arsenal 104FR. FR. 104FR. 104FR. Yep. Well, another couple of hundred flawless rounds through my 104FR that I've had 5 years, maybe coming up on 6. Oh wow, yeah, I guess it has been at least 6 because I had it before we moved. Mine too started off as a 104-31, just like Jay's. But I decided to make it more of a traditional AK-74 clone. This has a Russian type side folding stock with the flat butt plate. And when you saw this before, it had Bulgarian wood handguards. I found a few sets of Russian Plum, and so put these on along with a nice Russian Plum pistol grip. I also have the somewhat unique Bulgarian two-piece type brake. It's very similar to the Russian, but there are a few differences. So this is set up like a 1980s Bulgarian AK-74 because they did have Plum furniture on some of their guns, because a lot of the Bulgarian 74s were actually built with a large number of Russian parts. You see it on here. This is a drop case, military. And this is a typical 3-cell mag pouch. Actually, the pouch and the case came from Arsenal as well. And this really is, as I've said multiple times, just a dead ringer for the real McCoy. We've got, and this is a true import, it's not a US kit gun. We've got a 1.0 millimeter stamped receiver, complete with magwell dimples. We do have the side scope rail, which is nice for modern shooters, and some of the original guns had these as well. There's our release. Typical ribbed top cover. Typical AK-74 rear sight. Pinned in barrel, of course. The AK-74 actually had a slightly thinner profile barrel than the AKM. It also has a 90-degree gas block, which is common. They did that to help prevent bullet shearing. It just worked better for the cartridge. There's a lug under it, similar position to where it would be in an AKM. This is considered an accessory lug in the military. They would occasionally use these to mount under barrel grenade launchers. In practice, it was rarely used, but it's there just in case. It does have a bayonet lug under the front sight base, and the brakes on these are removable. It feeds from standard 30 round mags, and of course it will also accept the extended 45 round mag meant for the RPK if you would like to use it. So it's not limited to a little mag. See on this side, typical AK-74 selector. You can tell it's an AK-74 top cover because of this dimple here and just the way it's shaped. It also has the small shelf on the takedown button. And typical carrier, charging handle, all of that. So yeah, this is really the only AKS-74 to be imported. And prior to the 104FR, years before, Arsenal did the SLR105, which was really the only true fixed stock AK-74 to be imported. Now yes, there were Segas, but those are all based on the AK-74M. And there have been Vepers in 545, but those are based on the RPK-74M. Other 545 imports have been pretty few and far between. Pretty much Bulgaria and Russia have made up the majority of what we've seen. There have been some from Romania. There was the Romac 2, the ROM 992. Of course, most famously, the SAR2 and Wasser 2. But as I said in that video a year ago, the Romanian guns stopped coming in around 2013. There never has been an import from East Germany, of course. And obviously North Korea is out. There were a tiny number of 545s imported from China as the Type 88S or just 88S. But when I say tiny number, I mean tiny. Almost to the point of, aside from being a trivia fact, it's to the point of irrelevancy. Because if you found one today, multiple thousands of dollars. Back to the Romanian guns. They're not really AK-74s. They're their own pattern. The military versions, the PA-86. You can look up our other videos for more on that. There are some IMS-74 builds done by folks like Atlantic Firearms. They are nice builds, but it's a U.S. barrel, U.S. receiver. Not their fault, that's just what came in the kits. But we're just talking about imports, because that's really the heart of anything Kalashnikov-y. Yugoslavia, Serbia, never adopted 545, nor did Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic, nor did Hungary, or Egypt, or Israel, or Finland. I think you get the point. So since those nations never adopted it, we're not going to get a gun chambered for this cartridge out of there. We might get 5.56 guns from some of them, but not 5.45. But this is just a really fun gun. I'm going to sit down, guys. Been a long day and it's late at night. This is just a really fun gun to shoot. So we always like to take our 104FRs out now and again. They are very reliable. Very, very reliable. I'm sure someone out there has had one jam. It's always possible, but this is about as good as the AKs get in terms of reliability. They're also very smooth. They're not picky about magazines, and they take standard AK-74 parts. And, you know, according to Jay, accuracy is very, very acceptable. The folding stock's nice. These left side folders are rock solid. They also fold out to be very compact. They don't leave anything hanging out of the back. Now, these were being imported from 2013, and they were still available on the new market up to about 2016, and they were priced very fairly, anywhere from $1,200 to as low as $1,000 new. I'm not going to say they sold poorly, because people were looking for an AK-74 545 loved them, but that was a relatively small market. And of course other people even then wanted a Vepr or Sega, and it went that way. This was a case of you really don't know what you had until it's gone. People really didn't start giving the 104FR a lot of acclaim and notice until they couldn't get them anymore. I don't want to say it was not appreciated, because it was, but you know how the gun people can be, and not just the gun people, but any market tends to be that way. People think they can get it forever. I saw a lot of people on forums giving the advice of, you know, buy that gun because, oh, the Arsenal will be around forever. Well, that's true. These were never banned, and still today are not banned from import. Now, in our video from a year ago, I explained why Arsenal, both Bulgaria and USA, decided not to import more. So if you want to know the reasons, because they are multifaceted, check that out. Now, what happened last year, there was a statement from Arsenal at SHOT Show 2018 when asked if more 104s would come in, and basically they said anything's possible, but they never gave a definitive answer. Well, people, we tend to read into things what we want to hear. Thought that meant that they were definitely bringing them back. But they never said this. And I was told the whole time through my sales rep and other people that there were no plans to bring them in. And Bulgaria was not really keen on doing them anyway because no militaries were ordering these. So here we are 13 months later, and yes, no more 104FRs have come in. They're all dried up from the brand new market, at least Arsenal Direct. There might be some, you know, in back storerooms of gun shops somewhere, but probably not that many. So if you want one now, you're pretty much going to have to buy secondhand. And the good news is that actually a pretty good number of these, pretty large number, were imported. The bad news is the secret's out about how good these are. So when people sell them, they tend to ask pretty good prices. So, good luck. There has been talk, PSA, Palmetto State Army, said they were going to do a AK-74 built in the USA, presumably from American parts all the way. But as of right now, nothing has materialized. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you want one, that's cool. Honestly, no shade. That's great. Personally, though, I'm not interested. Part of the charm of something like this is having an original factory-built import. On a practical terms, I just know this will work. Bulgaria, Russia, Romania, they know how to build, how to spec out a 5.45 gun. When American companies have tried building these in the past, Century Arms with the Tantal, and Waffen Works with the AK-74, results have been mixed, to say the least. So, just don't feel like taking a chance on a US-built gun when imports at least were available. And again, remember, when I bought this, these guns were not exceedingly expensive. If you waited to get them on sale, they were about $1,000 brand new. Maybe even a little cheaper if you got lucky. So it's not me being kind of a value snob. It's just at the time, this was a pretty good value. And it's held up very well over the years. And one gun I'm very happy to have. And hey, now it's kind of got a little more bling to it in Plum. At least I would presume that, like, Samuel L. Jackson would be a fan of it. Really, though, we were just needing to do a 5.45 by 39 day. And brought this and a couple other guns out. And as always, we like to take you with us, bring you along. Hope you enjoyed it. I would say, in conclusion, the takeaway is never take an imported gun. Well, never take any gun you really want for granted in general. But imports especially are extremely vulnerable to disappearing. And sometimes they disappear overnight, quicker than you might expect. Because people get lulled into a sense of security when something's been on the market for a while. Not realizing that sometimes importers run out. And then that's it. Maybe another batch will never come in. Of course, maybe it will, but I don't know. Typically with an import, if I want it, I try to grab it sooner than later. And if I don't want it, I just move on in other projects. Anyway, if you'd like to know more about the service history of the original AK-74 or about the semi-auto Arsenals, you can check the playlist out. We've got a couple of AK videos, you might say. But this is just a fun update to get you some range footage, and even though it was hot today, it was still a nice day at the range, and this old girl performed as expected. And of course, Jay's 104FR did very well too. Well, if you'd like to talk about your own rifles, we'd love to in the comments below. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. And if you'd like to help support the channel so we can get out and buy some more 5.45 and get to the range again, you might check on our Patreon page and donate if you want to. This is Misha, and Jay and I will catch you very soon next time.